William Sylvanus here. In exploring the language that divides us, we now have come to defining the word republic. Now, just to be clear, we will deal with the word Republican Party. We will deal with the Republican Party label later at a separate time. There is a difference between republic and democracy. Our grand American experiment is and was unique in that it created a system of government that embraces both the republic and democracy simultaneously. So today, let's sort out what being a republic means. Again, let's start with the Oxford Dictionary meaning. Republic, a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch. This time I'd also like to read to you the one from the Merriam-Webster dictionary because it breaks it down into several meanings. A government having a chief of state who is not a monarch and who in modern times is usually a president. Number two, a political unit such as a nation having such a form of government. And number three, a government in which supreme power resides in a body of citizens entitled to vote and is exercised by elected officials and representatives responsible to them and governing according to law. All of that seems pretty straightforward, right? You would think the word republic should not be divisive in a country like the United States. But the battle continues. And the battle usually occurs over whether we are a republic or a democracy. Or it is a battle over whether republic is the priority concept or democracy is the priority. But again, unless in conversation we understand the thinking and assumptions of the other person or political party, we will find ourselves talking over each other and unable to put cooperation, dialogue, respect, and problem solving into practice. In my study, I found a statement from the Britannica online that I think is helpful. I'd like again to read that to you. Republic is a form of government in which a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. Modern republics are founded on the idea that sovereignty rests with the people, though who is included and excluded from the category of the people has varied across history. Because citizens do not govern the state themselves, but through representatives, republics can be distinguished from direct democracy. Though modern representative democracies are, by and large, republics. However, the term republic may also be applied to any form of government in which the head of state is not a hereditary position. Okay, so the controversy sometimes comes down to who makes up the body of citizens, or in other words, who does the term the people include? Historical exclusions from voting really bring that controversy into focus. And though we think we have overcome the issue of exclusion, it has not gone away. Within the American political system, within the American history, both parties from time to time try to exclude people by making or breaking the rules, even breaking the law. But there's another point of political concern, and that is who the elected representatives are bound to represent. I believe this one is of equal importance. Who are the elected representatives bound to represent? Only the people who voted yes for them? Only members of the political party with the majority within the body of representatives? All citizens in their district? Or all people who live in their district? Yeah. The questions about the practice of representation and around who is the constitutional or the political who gets pretty murky. The real thing that divides us is still the exclusions as practiced by the politicians and government, and our inability to be honest about where we stand, both on exclusions and on how to take care of the people in America, despite our ideas of exclusion or inclusion in representation. Let's step back and take a look at history. Here I'll admit I'm indebted to the Center for Civic Education for the content. The founders of the United States of America studied the history of governments. They were very interested in what they read about the government of the Roman Republic. That republic existed more than 2,000 years before our nation began. The government of Rome was called a republican government. The founders learned that a republican government was one in which the power of government is held by the people. The people give power to leaders they elect to represent them and serve their interests. The representatives are responsible for helping all the people in the country, not just a few. Pretty powerful. So what are the advantages of Republican government? Well, our founders believed that the advantages of Republican government were fairness, because they believed that laws made by the representatives they elected would be fair. If their representatives did not make fair laws, they could elect others who would. Another advantage was commonwealth welfare, common welfare. The laws would help everyone instead of one person or a few favored people. And a third, freedom and prosperity. People would have greater freedom and be able to live well. Fairness, common welfare, freedom and prosperity. These were the advantages the founders saw in a Republican government. But that brings up the question, what is common welfare? When a government tries to help everyone in a country, we say it is serving the common welfare. The common welfare is what is good for everyone in the country, not just a few people. The founders also believed in civic virtue. But again, what is civic virtue? When you work to help others and promote the common welfare, you are showing civic virtue. The founders thought that civic virtue was important for a Republican government. People with civic virtue are interested in having the government help all the people. The founders believed that most of the people have civic virtue. They thought the people would select leaders who would work for the common welfare. When we say the United States is a republic, we are referring to the following framework of government. The power of government is held by the people. The people give power to leaders they elect to represent them and serve their interests. The representatives are responsible for helping all the people in the country, not just a few. But when we think about how our two-party system has deteriorated into an all-out power struggle, from campaigning to creating law to administering law, the 5% asks these questions. In reality, who has the power? The people, the political leaders, the political parties. Whose interests are our representatives really serving? Their own? The wealthy and business elites? Their own political party? And also, are our representatives helping all the people in the country, not just a few? Or are they helping just a few? The 5% believes that as America replaces the current all-out political war with cooperation, dialogue, respect, and problem solving, the foundations for forming a more perfect union, establishing justice, ensuring domestic tranquility, and promoting the general welfare must be fairness, the common welfare, and freedom and prosperity. The power of government is held by the people. The people give power to leaders they elect to represent them and serve their interests. The representatives are responsible for helping all the people in the country, not just a few. Seeking fairness, serving the common welfare, and preserving freedom and prosperity. That is what it means to be a